Hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Formula Pod. And today it's all about the Austrian Grand Prix. And what a race! What a race! Like wheel to wheel racing happening, and yeah, things turning around the way of the Mercedes. And yeah, joining today, we have a very vibrant, what do you call, a deck on the pit box. I'm going to call this because yeah, we've got Ferrari, you've got McLaren, we've got Mercedes, all three podium sitters finally on the show, and that too. Mihir joins back after his short break. So, but yeah, Mihir has come today a lot more prepared. In fact, the past two episodes he wasn't there. Preparation was all in. And yeah, and Nathan joining back asking why is he still invited to the episode? And yeah,
Hey, I'm
Vishruti
happy to be
today
here.
and Vishruti
I'm happy to
being
be here.
promising that she will not shout because the last episode reducing her voice levels was the biggest task I had. So yeah, welcome everyone to the show.
Feels so good to be back, honestly, out of a short break, back in action. And what an episode to be in. I'm so glad I've come for this episode. There's so much of drama that happened. It is crazy. I'm super prepared for this.
Yeah,
Yeah, as much
exactly.
as I'm like a Ferrari fan, like as a neutral Formula One fan, man, this race was epic. It reminded me of 2021, and I can't wait to talk, about this race with you guys.
Vishruti?
Very much a good one. It was a little depressing towards the end, but I liked the fight. It was nice. Finally, it was good to see Max back to his old ways and someone actually fighting him on it.
Okay, to be very honest, I really enjoyed the race and I watched it also from the Mercedes Benz Brand Center. I know I've been telling this every single day, every single time I come on the episode. But yeah, literally from there, watching that Mercedes win itself was like goosebumps, to be very honest. Like, especially the contacts and bit all together, it was just like so much of the whoa and the woo kind of bits, all those moments got to kind of cherish it down there. But yeah, let's talk down to the race. Let's actually start with the sprints though, because this was a sprint weekend we had. I'm not going to talk a lot over here. I'm straight away giving it to me here. What do you what like how did you feel like seeing the sprints at first, though, in terms of performance?
Just in general, or just a specific driver you're looking into?
Let's go general on the sprints.
Okay, I think, honestly, there were, personally, I don't think there were any changes from the previous sprint. From what I saw, I think everything was pretty much normal. Do I see any progress? Yes, I see a lot of progress with Haas. I was super shocked to see Haas in the middle of the grid. Obviously, RB, Cash App, devastating, but Ricardo did pull it through, so I'm fine with that. When it comes to Mercedes, I don't think Mercedes is really doing anything much, to be honest. I think they're just keeping their head up. They know their competition is way far ahead of them. They won't really understand what they're doing wrong in terms of what themselves Mercedes is doing wrong. Red Bull, obviously, Red Bull's Red Bull. I think we'll get to Red Bull in detail further in the episode. I have a lot of statements to make on that. But otherwise, I think out of 10, I think everyone was around between 7 to 9. I wouldn't say 10 on 10. No team is 10 on 10, to be honest.
Okay.
But yeah, Nathan, what do you think? Did you watch the sprints? What's up?
Yeah, I mean the sprint was actually it was decent, I would say. I mean the first part of the sprint was pretty good when Max and Norris were fighting. I mean, we know by the past three races that those two are like, you know, there at the top, and we have known for a while that the McLaren car is the fastest on the grid, and Max Verstappen is just showing his brilliance with the Red Bull that he has. And we knew that this track provides a platform where you could make those overtakes, those last minute overtakes into the corner, and it was going to be a very interesting race. And that first part of the sprint really showed that with Lando and Max fighting it out, and then Oscar then getting his way through. But then after that, it was just a normal race. I don't know. I feel like there's again the sprints. They somehow uh, tend to do well at the start, but then they always just taper off and become boring. According to me, I don't know. Maybe it's either the format. They'll have to change something about it. I don't know what it is, but overall, I think it was a pretty good sprint.
I think I think the part that I liked the most was that I found more interesting was the fact that again Max Lando fighting for it, and what lap 5 was interesting. Lap what 6, 7 was even more interesting when Oscar came into the mix. Max and Lando fighting for it, and then Oscar just swerved it and overtook Lando and Lando going behind, Max going ahead. That was, I think, I think the most exciting lap, like Nathan said. After that, just to see the fight between both the McLarens to figure out who was going to come P2, it was kind of nice seeing a team other than Alpine fight against each other. So there was a good change. That too was not like, I bash into you fight. It was like, it was just a matter of, who's faster, who's clocking the faster laps. And it was an interesting thing, but it got kind of monotonous towards the end, but it was a nice first half.
Well, yeah, like according to me, what I felt with the sprint was that it like initially it was pretty good, and it was good to see Sergio Perez back after a very long time in that top 10 positions, because
Mm-hmm.
that's something which we haven't seen, I believe, in like 4 or 5 races.
Yeah.
I think like from Miami onwards, if I'm not wrong. So it was kind of good to see Checo back, at least in that, like, showing that where that car should sit. But yeah, it was pretty amazing to see like Kevin Magnussen coming in top 10 on sprints.
Ooh.
So again, I feel like Haas has got some actual game up their sleeve. Like Haas is
Yeah, they're
really, really,
fighting
really improving. Like I probably say it could be even reach a point where Haas is actually leading the pack.
in the
Like you may
midfield.
not
Yeah,
know. You may not
The
know.
midfield pack, right?
The
I
midfield
mean,
pack probably, of course.
right now, Alpine are, they have been consistently finishing in that ninth and 10th position. But after today's result, Haas are pretty good, and they're
I
bringing in
mean,
more upgrades, and that's a good sign for that team. It's just
P6
that
and
whenever
P8
they've
is
yeah
way up there. It's amazing.
But yeah,
yeah
let's actually talk about the race. Like the very first lap onwards itself, there was that action which was coming in, especially first turn itself. I don't know what happened to Charles Leclerc. Like again, I know, yeah, Nathan is going to say, cry out.
Arjun, I
But
told you not to bring it up, man. Why?
well,
This
well,
race
I,
was supposed to be about Max and Lando. But anyway,
You're
yeah,
gonna
I
put
mean, it's
everything
but
on me
no,
first.
no, but anyway, that the quali coming in, and then Oscar getting his kind of getting lap time deleted due to track limits. And before even going, like I need to even talk about the track limits. They have done a pretty good job with the track limits this time, but I feel like there is still room for improvement because the gravel traps, in a way, has reduced it a lot, but still, again, there were enough amount of track limits which came up. Because even during, if it's because let's even say Max and Lando, even when they both were doing hard racing, Lando was given like a black and white flag after, like, towards, like, just say 2 to 3 laps before they both were having the incident. So in that hard racing, also there was the track limits bit still there.
Yeah.
So I feel like because last year this was the track with the most amount of track limits.
Oh
This
god.
year, this year again there is improvement, but I feel there is still they could do. But what do you thought?
I mean, first off, turn 4 was a little bit harder. A lot of the track limit incidents were happening around turn 4, and you could see them struggling a bit. But overall, the race was it was extremely entertaining from the beginning. You got a little bit of Charles's incident, Oscar. Sorry, Nathan.
I see you. We'll talk about Norris later.
And then Oscar, Lewis, a lot of pit lane infringements, which was very weird. Yeah, a lot of track. I mean, a lot of track limits. I didn't. It took me a while to like process the fact that Lando was going off track, but then I realized that he's doing like proper hard racing.
I think you should, like, if you were actually like watching the onboards, you actually would see like a good couple of times he actually did go off track.
I saw once, and I think I was more focused on the time gap between the both of them. But I because it was really close. But I mean, when I heard that he was being investigated for like a track limit infringement, I was like, how hard are you going, Lando? But I think most of them struggle during turn 4. I think that's the turn that they've changed.
I think
From just the beginning of sector 2.
even turn 6 as well.
Turn 4, 6, yeah. Those turns, like you could see them struggling with that. It was not just Lando, it was other drivers as well. But you could see them struggle the most there. They've made some changes to that that kind of makes it a little bit more harder for them to turn without kind of crossing
Mhm.
the line. And I think they
Yeah.
need to work on the turns a little bit more. Because at the end of the day, if you want proper hard racing like these guys did, there needs to be a proper gap and there should be space so that they can, race without making any incidents. But moving on from here.
Look, honestly, and this is a very unpopular opinion, I think the track is perfectly fine, right? It, even though it narrows down, there's a reason why it's narrowed down. It's because the drivers have to understand, predict their brake predictions. They have to do everything. A track is not meant for drivers to have a breeze drive on Sheikh Zayed. It's more of racing. You don't. It's not a leisure purpose. They do it. They want to win some podiums. So narrowing the first corner was a menace. I think the first corner is always an accident prone turn. So said that, I think this is where the drama comes. Whenever Austria is so powerful, because not only it's the home of Red Bull, but also that that track is phenomenal. It's a good mix of fast lane. It's a good mix of really pushing the engineering limits of aerodynamics on a Formula One car, pushing through phenomenal. I think Austria okay, honestly, track limits a bit of an issue in Austria, but that's where fun comes in. Rules make games and sports fun. That's the whole point of this. When Oscar complained about Lewis Hamilton's pit lane entry, I lost it. But fair enough, it's in the rule book, so I'm not gonna discuss that. We will discuss about that later on. But it was a bit of a cocky move from him. But it's Formula One. Nathan, please take this over, Ferrari boy. Please enlighten us with your beautiful statements about Leclerc and only Leclerc. Nobody cares about Carlos.
No one cares about Carlos. Yeah. No, the guy got P3 and no one cares about him. Yeah, clearly.
Oh man,
Um
look at this guy.
Ah,
man, this guy, I'm so I you know what? Yeah, actually about the track limits thing, let me add something there. I think, I mean, compared to last year's race, big difference. I mean,
that's
we used
there.
to get track limit warnings and black and white flags almost every lap, or like every 4 or 5 laps. So it's a pretty good improvement. I really like the addition of the gravel traps at the end of turn 9 and turn 10. Those are some really good changes. But like Mihir said, I don't really think that they need to work on the track more to cut down those track limits. You need to have those runoff spaces. I mean, the track is made in such a way whether it's basically like a really fast straight and then almost like a 90-degree or a slow speed corner or like a hard braking zone. So you really need that open space for the car to travel through. So you are bound to have the car bump over the track and drive off, on the runoff. But yeah, apart from that, turn 1 is brilliant, right? In Austria, and that is unfortunately where Charles Leclerc had his incident, and he had a normal weekend. This is a normal weekend for Charles Leclerc, right? I mean, bad luck and pieces of carbon fiber flying out of his car is just normal at this point. The only abnormal thing about a Charles Leclerc weekend is if he wins. That's a
Monaco.
weird weekend for me. But like every other weekend is now normal. As a Ferrari fan, I am dead on the inside. But anyway, I mean, Sainz got a podium. That's pretty cool, right? I can't complain.
Okay, I just want to make a very good point. As much as I'm really happy for Carlos, I don't think it's really justifying that. No, like, there's so many offers he's getting. He's such a talent. He's such a talented driver, but he's not agreeing to anyone. And I hope that he understands that these contracts have a time frame, right? If
Yeah.
he's gonna be cocky about this, it's gonna go down. I get it. There's so much to think about. It's his future at this point. He's getting a. I think did he get a contract with Red Bull as well?
No,
No,
he
no.
didn't.
He got it with Mercedes.
He got with Mercedes. He's
Yeah,
gotten with Sauber, Williams, Alpine, maybe.
but the Williams contract is that one is also it's the window is very close. They are also like, okay, if this
Mm.
guy doesn't want to race with us, we don't want him.
Fair
There
enough.
are
I mean,
there are other drivers available to drive, so
for
you may
sure.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, Williams this week actually came into news with like probably like 25 like high profile engineers they hired. So it's kind of like a clear statement from James Wells that okay, we are not here just to become like that team with no points. We are actually here to kind of actually get some points and kind of make it to the front. Because it's a
Yeah,
legacy
but
team, and
they have a long way to go. I mean, you talk about like 4 years back, Haas and Williams were at the back of the grid. Look at where Haas
Hmm.
now. Look at where Haas is right now, and look at where Williams is right now.
yeah, but then
I mean, yeah, there is obviously the budget constraints. I know the team is it's not as great as like an Aston Martin with unlimited cash and a big budget, but Haas is pretty much almost on the same boat as well. I mean, they're not a really big team. I mean, Carlos is. I mean, yeah, you're right, Mihir. Carlos is. He's such an amazing driver. He needs to be in like one of those top teams, and he's showing it right now. And he's shown it for the past 2 3 years that he needs that top drive. And right now, him getting a seat at Williams is just like a big. It's such a shame, but I don't know. I don't know where this guy's gonna end up. It's not
But
confirmed
Nathan,
yet. So
Nathan, if you let's say if you put your shoe in Carlos's shoe for a second, what
hmm.
team would you want to be in or be a part of history?
See, it's pretty hard because I'm the only reason I think Carlos is really taking a lot of time is because of the 2026 seat as well. And this is what I believe. Because I don't know, initially there was there was the Audi rumors that started off and now they signed Nico Hulkenberg. And I'm not saying that Carlos is going to Sauber or to Audi. But I feel like that is also playing in his mind because Audi as a new team, they come into to the grid with, a completely new regulations, a
Mhm.
completely different car. So, he could do something like a Braun GP and go into a team like that and just start winning races and develop with the team. I don't know. I think that is something that he would be thinking in his head, but then he has to make a decision really fast because seats are filling up.
I mean, from what I've heard, I think he was gonna choose Williams, which I don't think will sit well with me if he does go into Williams. So if that's the scenario right now, I mean, the top teams are not available. He's rejected Mercedes. They're looking into someone else already. But if he's gonna choose Williams over having a 1 year contract with Mercedes, then that's really sad.
so every driver would shouldn't want to just like a 1 year contract. They would want to go more. Like, but I don't understand what is Carlos's intention at this stage and what he is kind of trying to play because at the moment the driver market was already shaken by Lewis, and now
Yeah.
it's kind of like we are seeing like a formation of what will be the new driver market looking like. So
But the
all
thing
these
is,
things are
Arjun,
coming in.
yeah, but the thing is, isn't a 1 year contract better with the regulations changing in 2026? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how the cars are going to be
Exactly.
in 2 years. So isn't a 1 year contract much more safer than a multi year contract?
Well, see, at the end of the day, it's drivers who actually want to just secure their futures,
No.
you know? Because when you have like Max, Lando, Leclerc all getting like 4 or 5 years of contract, and
Yeah,
then you're there on a top performing team, just getting a 1 year contract, like, well, that's just kind of disappointing.
yeah.
Like, again, the funniest story this week I've heard is Lance Stroll's contract being renewed. I'm like, isn't that like obvious? Like this guy is racing for his dad. His dad literally bought the team just for him, and then it's like, oh, I've extended my contract. Like for what joy?
The biggest
See,
driver market upset would be when Lance Stroll when he won't renew his contract. That would be the biggest. That would be bigger than Lewis Hamilton signing for Red Bull. I'm telling you.
all of Lance Stroll, all of Lance Stroll renews his contract. More specifically, if his dad still owns a team and it's not that team.
Lawrence Stroll is not having a full percentage. Like he's not having a
That
large
is
stake
the
now. So it's all like even though he does have majority stake, but then it's not a lot. And it is
Mhm.
by the like say if Aramco might end up picking that shares up, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
And then
Be
who
interesting to see.
and then who else invested? Toto Wolf. Toto Wolf has a 5% stake on Aston Martin.
Wow. Go Toto.
Well, Toto is not only a team principal; he's an investment banker as well. It's an investment.
Yeah.
So you have it there. But anyways, let's come back to racing and let's talk about Max Verstappen.
Same.
I
I'm
need
flipping.
I know with for this particular topic specifically, Mihir has come all out with his notes. And Mihir has got some really strong points to actually highlight out just about Max. So
This is, you know what? This is actually funny. Before Mihir talks, I mean, this is so funny. Max Verstappen has his victims in Mercedes fans and Lando Norris fans. And it's funny to see all three of them here. And I'm here as the neutral fan, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have, to talk
Pain. I
about
just
Max.
feel pain. Nathan, what you feel with Charles, I feel with what just happened.
Yeah, I see. But yeah, go on, Mihir.
So I think Max, don't get me wrong, okay, Max is a phenomenal driver when it comes to what he's doing. But it's a 30-70 ratio, right? When the car is doing a phenomenal job. Look, I'm not, don't get me wrong, Max is a very talented driver. Okay, and a lot of guys and girls are gonna come out to me and be like, yo, oh, you're wrong. Put another driver in a Red Bull car, they would perform as good as Max or even better. I've got proof because Ricardo, when he sat in the Red Bull car, was a few seconds, not even a few seconds, maybe a tenth of a second behind Max. So it really shows how Red Bull is a really, really good car. Now, said that, all right, the car has Red Bull's, well, let's be specific. Max's car in the last two races weren't doing well. There was always some issues with tire, heat, engine, and now this time there was wind. There was, I think there was 12 kilometers per hour wind, which really hindered with Red Bull's gearbox. So Red Bull told Max not to go above seventh gear because fuel efficiency, right? Like obviously when you're hitting on and that kind of wind, the car is so light where you'll have to use more power, more energy to actually go through. And for the listeners, you can't refuel in Formula One. It's one go, right? In fact, I think when did they stop refueling, Arjun? They used to
I think
refuel, right?
2014
Right.
onwards, since the turbo hybrid era.
Yeah. So they used to refuel, which is actually a phenomenal era. But a lot anyway, regardless. Red Bull as a team has lost the way they actually perform in terms of high pressure. I feel like Red Bull is not or isn't ready because they're so ahead of their time. Because they know they're gonna win. They know they're in this white space where there's no other Formula team in that grace, in that white space with them. So they are basically the kings of winning kingdom. If that's if I would put things into perspective. So when they were put into high pressure situation, now don't get me wrong, Formula One is a really intense sport, especially when you're part of a team. You need to do risk assessment. You need to think of everything possible. And if there's a problem, that has to be solved within a minute or two. Right now, with the pit stop for Max, I think that was very late. There was the left rear tire that took some time to take off, right? And I made a joke about it with my friends. I'm going to make the same joke here. I bet that guy's going to get fired. Okay, shit on it. It's going to fire him. All right. Like I could see the disappointed in him. As soon as he took the tire off, the car went by. He just started like shaking his head right and left. He was like, "Oh my god." Anyway, it's all right. Mistake.
Okay.
Everyone makes mistakes. It's fine. But coming to the main point where Lando Norris, who I was super proud of, I'm not going to lie, Lando Norris is my third favorite driver at this career right now. Lewis Hamilton being number one, George being number two, Lando Norris being number three. Lando Norris is doing a phenomenal job. I can't express how much I'm really happy for him, just because this guy was giving the best fight in a very long time to Max Verstappen in a race in Austria where he was about to lose. It was crazy. I was not sitting for the last 10 laps of the race. Now, whose fault was it? The crash. A lot of people think it's Max. A lot of people think it's Lando Norris. I think it's Max because he knew where Lando Norris was when the entry, when the turn came in. Lando Norris was on the apex, not the apex, but just on the track limit. He wasn't outside, and then obviously he was trying to break lane, and then Max came in and pushed him because he knew that the only way he could actually defend him is by slowing him down because Lando Norris was actually quicker than him during actually all of the race. Also, can I also talk about the fact that they knew there was an issue with Red Bull and Max Verstappen? Red Bull has a phenomenal way of dealing with things. I think this was one of the best moves I've seen from Red Bull is to create dirty air for Lando Norris. I think that was one of the best moves so far. For the listeners, clean air and dirty air. Clean air is when a car in front of, let's say, I am driving a Mercedes and I have all the clean air, and whatever I throw back is called dirty air, which is just a this it was it's basically air that's not, how to explain, it's not air that could be used for aerodynamic. It would create a lot of drag. And let's say the car behind me is the Vishwatri Papaya loser. And she would slow it down essentially because that would create a lot of dirty air and wouldn't create any clean air. And
So
that's what Max
basically,
did. That was crazy.
so basically, you mean like a dirty air would be more like not that free flowing air, but it's more what you call a more disturbed,
Turbulent.
like yeah, it's a more turbulent air pattern which comes hits the
Yeah,
cars.
yeah. So I think that was a really phenomenal move from Red Bull. But it is absolutely Max's fault. He can't. The Red Bull cannot take high pressure situations anymore because they have been flying for so many races. They have forgotten how to just take things by the second. They're sitting comfortably on chairs. You can see Christian Horner going to the bathroom, coming back. Oh, Max is sleeping on. But I want to ask the mediator, Nathan. What do you think of this? I've been talking for a long, long time. Explain.
Yeah, it's
What do you think?
yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I actually have a question for you, Mihir. Do you still think the Red Bull is are they the fastest car on the grid?
Yeah.
Do you still think that?
Um.
Because you did mention the Ricardo thing, and I get that, but that was last year. But this year, are they the fastest?
I think I'm gonna make Fish very happy. No, I think McLarens are doing a phenomenal job. I also think that McLaren has a very good chance next year. The upgrades were outstanding. I think Lando Norris is very comfortable with his car. So yes, Nathan, I think that Red Bull is in great danger.
They are. They are. And I absolutely agree. They are. It's been a while since they have been in like a high pressure situation, like Mihir said. The last time that happened was 2021. Sorry, Arjun and Mihir. I'm going to bring that up a lot.
It's okay.
But
We are fine with it.
I mean,
We've already accepted.
you have to move on. Exactly. And that's brilliant. That's great. If you don't move on, I'll give you the number of my therapist. He'll help you out as a Ferrari fan. Anyway, the reason why I mention the Red Bull thing is because we have been knowing that McLaren the car has been unbelievable. They have always been on top. I mean, we saw in Spain the way how Lando was catching up to Max and the pace that he showed. Um, Clearly, Austria was that race where we all thought that okay, this is the track that McLaren would have a chance to at least maybe get the win. And I really thought this was Lando's best chance to win a race. Um, and it was. It was. We saw that in the sprint. We saw the pace there. And again, Max doing his normal thing, just staying ahead with the car. I don't know how he does it, but he somehow just does it. But what's funny is I really expected McLaren, to be honest, McLaren did the best as a team. They did the best in terms of the strategy, in terms of the calls. They did really well. But I don't know, this is a hot take, but I think Lando should have done a better job in terms of racing Max. Not in terms of the incidents, but like I think he should have passed Max a bit sooner, a bit faster. Because if I'm being honest, if I would put, let's say, a Charles Leclerc in that situation, or like a Ferrari against Max, I think Charles would pass him without any problems. And if I'm being honest, he's the only driver, if I'm not wrong, the only non-Red Bull driver that has actually passed him on track to win a race. Because every other winner has just won it either because the car was really bad, Max was all the way at the back, or Max DNF, which is really funny. But yeah, Lando really, this was his best chance to win. I think, yes, the whole incident between Max and Lando was It was, as a neutral fan, it was unbelievable. Let me tell you something. I have never been so on the edge of my seat this entire season. This is the first time I've been on the edge of my seat. I mean, Monaco, leave that. That was you've already heard my opinion on Monaco. For some reason, that's just a really boring race. Charles won, great, but this race was the best that I've seen so far, and it's great. Formula One is great. I mean, we've had now. I think we add Russell to the new list of winners this season. So um, great. Lando and Max having that battle on track was, it reminded a lot about the 2021 season. Again, sorry for bringing that up, but Max, again, I do agree with me here. Max was at fault according to me as well. It's again the moving and the braking which really was the factor here. And obviously the again it's weird because the FIA, again, I don't know what's wrong with the FIA here, again, with making these decisions really quickly in terms of the track, in terms of the track limits as well. Like sometimes they're lenient, sometimes they're strict. um there it's really a gray area still. It needs to be black and white because these are rules, and needs to be enforced, but it's still gray. And Andrea Stella came up. I mean, he came out and he called out the FIA and also Verstappen about the 2021 issue. And I agree that that thing is not sorted out yet. Until that thing is sorted out, it will never be black and white. It's still gray, and they need to buck up here. The FIA really have to put in some sort of regulation or something, because this could just be the start. You never know what's going to happen in Silverstone, and you never know what's going to happen in the next few races, because for a fact McLaren are pushing. I know Lando is going to be motivated to win the Silverstone Grand Prix, and I know for a fact he is. And the last time we had two cars the last time we had two cars fighting for the win in the British Grand Prix toe to toe was the 2021 Silverstone Grand Prix, where something happened and Lewis won. um I hope
With the
we don't see a
penalty.
repeat of that. Yeah.
What about the
I hope
penalty?
we don't see a repeat of that. But as a neutral fan, I'm all for it. I love it. Bring it on. I just wish Charles was also part of that battle, but it is what it is.
As a McLaren fan, I almost walked out of the place I was watching the race from because I was really upset when I saw the state of Lando's tires. Because the last time that happened was Miami a couple of years ago when he hit Gasly. That was a very upsetting race for me because he DNF'd as well. But I mean, from the get go, the race was amazing with like I'd mentioned before, Charles, Oscar, you know, Max's start was absolutely phenomenal. The gap that he had made between him and Lando was instantly extremely, the gap was amazing. You know, it was what, 5 6 seconds within the first few turns, and it was amazing to watch that. You know, you saw the pace, you could see the pace that the Red Bull had, but Lando, as time went on, as more laps went in, you could see him catching up, and that just goes to show how fast the McLaren is. And Oscar making his way up from P7 through P2 was honestly really beautiful to watch. I think if they would have kept track of the penalties, I think, like Nathan, you said, if Red Bull and Max, if Max would have been told about Lando's 5 second penalty, it could have been avoided. But I think from the whole Max and Lando fighting, that was, I think it was really it ended very badly. But it was really entertaining to watch. You know, it's been a while since I was like, downing my Coca-Cola trying to figure out what's going on. But I think, it got even more interesting when they started pitting at the same time. And the second pit, when they messed up Max's pit stop, and he had a lockup as he was getting out of the pit lane and back into the track, that just pushed the gap between Lando and Max from 6 seconds to 6 or 7 seconds to like 2 seconds. And with those fresh tires, he was able to catch up like Lando has the last few races. It was beautiful. But the incident in last race in Spain, with Lando missing out, and this race where he DNF'd, his first DNF of the season, which hurt so bad. He had this beautiful track record, which just got broken because of Max. Max, he deserved that 10-second penalty. But I think with both the races that he's had in Spain and Austria, and the sprint race that he missed out by just a bit, um, on Saturday, I think he's going to come back in Silverstone quite harsh. And, he's a proper contender for the Drivers' Championship and a proper fighter against Max, which is something we haven't seen in 3 years. It's gonna be a very interesting season, and I'm just glad that Lando is the one that's doing it. Silverstone home race, as we discussed last week. For some reason, I want an all British podium, or at least a British winner. I wouldn't mind that being Lando, because I'm pretty sure he's gonna come back with all the might and anger that he's had the last 2 weekends of just slightly missing out, and he's gonna push back and hopefully win this in the next few days.
Hmm. Well, what I personally feel, to be very honest, saw that 2021 Max Verstappen again
Mm-hmm.
come back to life, and
Max 2.0.
and to be very honest, I was just even listening to like the post race interviews as well. Max, like again, Max still continued his race, put on the softs, got the fastest lap. He's like, okay, I'm going to do whatever I can to get even at least that additional point, because instead of 25, he managed to just get like 10. So it's, and again, Lando Norris was a lot disappointed. Lando Norris, in fact, was just saying in his post race interview that there are rules that are that are meant to be followed. If they are not followed, I can't do anything about it.
Mm.
So he was so disappointed. Again, like of course, Lando is got a really strong car. McLaren. It's not only just the talent of Lando Norris; it is also that McLaren car, because it is in serious contention to even hit Max the most hardest way. But again, you're
It is.
talking but you're also talking about the next race, which is Silverstone. Silverstone,
Mm-hmm.
if say for example, I'm just going to go back to 2021 Silverstone Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, Cops Corner. Both of them go wheel to wheel. One car, will definitely stay out,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not coming back to the race. It hits the cops. It's a full 360. Hit the wall. You're done. So again, we don't know how this is going to be the case of this fight going on, but I'm pretty certain that every team is catching up. Each and every single team is catching up, because you cannot discount out the fact of Ferrari. You cannot discount out the fact of Mercedes. Everyone is coming up. Leighton, stop shaking your head. I'm giving a bit of positivity over here.
Hey, that's great, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I need that positivity in my life.
Yeah, so like you may not know, because again, this particular race, for example, just because that first lap incident, Charles kind of ended up having like a broken front wing. Because of that one, only Charles Leclerc ended up not getting points, or else Ferrari would have finished in double points.
Mm-hmm.
Instead,
Yeah,
you
but
saw.
as a Ferrari fan, it hurts. And I don't know if this is with everyone, but to me personally, you would have both Max and Lando. We knew that at some point those guys were gonna hit each other. They were
Yeah.
so close together
The way they
in
were
many
going.
different races. They were really close, and they're fighting toe to toe. So at some point of time, they're gonna hit, and that's the exact point when a team like a Ferrari or a Mercedes need to capitalize and be in that 3 and 4 position, so that they could convert that into like a 1 and 2. But all Ferrari fans got was a P3. But you know what? It is what it is. Ferrari are the fourth best team on the grid. They have a lot of work to do, and Charles's pace was it was pretty encouraging. I mean, he did have like 3 or 4 pit stops, but like he still clawed his way back through the field. It could also be
Yeah.
because of the track,
Exactly.
but it's promising. It's promising. It's really promising. But I just wish they were there up front where the Mercedes were.
No, like
But speaking about, but yeah,
I
but
I got
speaking about
to
Mercedes, what do you guys think?
Mercedes itself. Like I'm going to start off over here. sorry to kind of cut it off for others. I feel like, okay, George was qualified in a very, very good position. That P3 on the race, he, for a good amount of time, I think he was rather not racing, he was rather managing his tires whilst keeping that gap, you know? Like he was 3 seconds clear, but then he was 13 seconds away from the battle in the front. And again, like no one knew that okay, George is going to kind of get it, because even in our predictions last week also, I myself just put George as in P3, and pretty much that was what it was, the situation until the incidents which has come up. So again, I'm not saying Mercedes didn't win out of merit, but again, there was a situation which came up, and George just capitalized it quite nicely, because this time with George, one thing would I understand is once he's got that chance, okay, there is a chance that he can ace it out. Something stupid he will do with George. I'm saying Singapore last year. He might end up going too hard, but then this time he was a lot more comfortable. He didn't make the mistakes, even though when Toto being a bit too desperate, being like, "Okay, George, you can do it," and then he's like, "Can you please allow me to drive the car?" Like literally, the rate I was like, "What?" Like Toto is going so desperate. No, but probably like yeah, Toto will get desperate, because again, it's not being a team principal, you're answerable to the shareholders of the team. In this case, it's definitely Ineos and Mercedes themselves. And all the sponsors that come along with it. We saw the full extent of it in last year's Drive to Survive, where McLaren ends up speaking to all their title sponsors, which is OKX, the Google, and someone else. I forgot the last one. But there are a lot of stakes over here. But then getting this, of course, really happy. And also, I need to even talk about Lewis, because in the initial laps, George and Lewis were on a wheel-to-wheel action. But Lewis finished in P4 with some significant damage on his side pod. So the car was not as aerodynamic as George's car, because it did end up having certain damages with the collisions which has come up. And just to kind of go back when Vishruti told about seeing Lando's tire going off, we have seen this before. Lewis finishing a race with 3 tires in Silverstone. We have seen this. I know. Like okay, Red Bull Ring and Silverstone are two extremely different tracks, but we have seen this.
It still pained me. That was the.
But again, it is
And
it is it is good to get some shocks like this. It's really good to
he
get some
went
shocks
in.
like this.
He went in, and the amount of time it took for them to fix it, he was like, no, I'd rather. I think for Lando, he's got to that point where he's up there. He's in contention for the championship, and the only thing that's going through his mind is, if I'm not at the top three, I don't need to be there.
Which is a bad mentality, just
Which
saying.
is
Because
bad.
once
That's
you
what I'm
started,
saying. That's what
Because
I'm
that's
saying. It's kind
toxic.
of bad because
That's toxic to a point now. Because see,
that is.
because I don't know if
That's
you
why I wanted to bring
if
it
you
up.
guys if you guys remember Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. What a nasty fight that was.
Yeah.
That was a really nasty fight. But then, post that, it was with Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri was given his opportunities to win races. Lewis again won. I'm not saying he wasn't winning. He did win. But that was a bit more healthier. But then this has now
Mhm.
become like, okay, for Max is becoming a kid again. Lando joins the party. Like, come on. I know
I I've never seen him this frustrated before. I think he's had two continuous week. See, he's been doing well consistently from the start. Okay, and when you start losing out slowly, it kind of hits you differently. And I think I get where he's coming from. You have good races. You've won a race this year. You're coming P2. It's nothing below that, right? It's either a win or P2. He doesn't get anything below that, and that's something that he's used to at this point. So if you see, like it's weird seeing him below P5 for me. It's weird not seeing him on the podium for me. Just a second, Mahir. So I think he's used to the fact that he's getting there. He's really close to Max, and I don't like the fact that he thinks that even getting a single point is not worth it, because each and every single point matters. I think that's what we've learned from the 2021 season. Every single point matters. I think someone should tell him that. He should put it through his head that anything will work, because Max finished the race. He also had the collision, but Max finished the race. He went through, and with the 10-second penalty, he still came in P5. So
Because the gap between him and the driver after him
Nico
was
was
12
what,
seconds.
12. Yeah, so it was what the it was. I think it was like 25 or something like that. I didn't watch it after Lando retired, but um
But
uh
but yeah, let's kind of bring others to the conversation. Mihir, what do you have to say?
I think even if it took more than 30 seconds to fix the car, you still had 3 laps left. Put some soft tires on and try to get the fastest lap. Right? It
Exactly.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you finish the race. It doesn't matter if you come in the top 5 or not. At this point, you should tell everyone that you know what, it's what has happened has happened. I have shown the world what I have in me to fight this. So I'm
yeah.
going to finish this off by winning or trying to win the purple sector all over the Austria ring, and to tell everyone in Australia and whoever is wearing that orange disgusting Red Bull jersey to beware that Mercedes engines are actually quite reliable. I don't know about McLaren. I'm joking.
Excuse
I'm
me.
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Nathan, you want to add something to this though? Or else we can go
Uh,
back to the Mercedes topic. But yeah, you go on.
no, it just something. I mean, interesting. I mean, this is the first time Norris has actually had a not a championship. I wouldn't really call it a championship fight. Where is Norris? Where's Max on the championship table? They are fighting in the front of the grid, and I think this is Lando's first time doing it consecutively. So yeah, I'll cut him some slack. But I'm pretty sure he'll learn from this for sure. And it's actually funny, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Verstappen did put on the softs after he got his puncture, but actually, if I'm not wrong, I think Alonso got the fastest lap in the end. It was, I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Yep.
saw
Alonso got the fastest lap.
that was so weird. But yeah, Norris should have just put on some soft tires, and just taken the championship point. I mean, not that he's gonna get it, but at least just take that fastest lap so that no one else can get it, because
Yeah.
he clearly had the car underneath him.
Yeah, I feel like to a certain extent, it's basically the driver trusting the car. So again, as Mihir said earlier, even if it's that 30 seconds, if it takes, he should just believe that okay, he can go get that P10 position, at least P10, just so that 1 point he gets. Because as you also said, Vishruti, every point counts.
Yeah.
But again, let's come back to the Mercedes topic. I kind of got bombarded, but go on.
I'm actually quite happy that, despite the fact that Lando was out and the whole thing with Max, I am quite happy that gave way to George Russell for a win, because how much ever I said I do not like George Russell in the last podcast episode, today I say he took that opportunity. He was able to hold off Oscar, and he was able to get it done. And it's just his talent that he was in P3 starting grid, and I am actually happy for him. But I liked the end where they were sitting in the cool down room when George goes, "Oh wow, that's a collision," and then Oscar goes, "Yeah, mate, that's what got you win. That's what got you to win this race."
You
Just
know,
seeing that got me so happy.
when she said, it sounded like as if she was swallowing a very hard pill. you know? She's like, George, George.
No, but I'm happy for Mercedes. Finally they're having a good time with the car, and they're getting much more better. They're going much more higher. You could see George is trying to take the lead as the one that's going to remain in Mercedes as the
The lead driver.
driver as the lead driver, and he's paving the way for his teammate, so that showing him what to do. And I think trying to fill in the fact that Lewis is not the lead anymore, and he's showing why he still has that seat in Mercedes. And I'm just glad that these guys are doing much more better, and Lewis is doing much more better as well with a P4. So I'm actually happy for you guys this time. It's still a Mercedes engine. McLaren is still a Mercedes engine, so it's Mercedes win if Lando does one as well.
Yeah, me here.
Nathan, no, don't give me that look. Try to be nice, man.
Sure.
Diplomacy to another level, this is. But I mean, here, I know you're like fuming to talk. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll tell you honestly how I feel about this, right? Is George a really good driver? Yes. Was this luck? Yes. George, Mercedes is not as quick as a McLaren or a Red Bull. Yeah, you can take it or leave it, but I can tell you this, that George has only won this race due to luck. And the way he saw this opportunity, he was very calm about it. He was not as excited, but he knew his mission at that time, which was to block Oscar and to see if he can finish the race and bring Mercedes a trophy in Austria, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's the biggest middle finger to Austria Red Bull Ring. But honestly speaking, about Lewis, as everyone knows, I'm a diehard Lewis fan. Even during the race, you can see that Lewis Hamilton is not really giving in. He's not really proactive. He knows what he's doing. He's doing everything he can. He's not happy with the car, but he's not complaining. He's settling down with it. And he's come to terms with it. Like, I can help Mercedes now, but my next target is Ferrari, and I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna evaluate. I'm just gonna do my thing, what I've been doing for the last 12 years. Sit and relax, see where this goes, and then think about Ferrari. So very disappointed from Lewis. In fact, I would like to say that Lewis was at a music photo shoot right before practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were with
I
Camila.
saw
Yeah.
that. I saw that.
And
Yeah.
so it really shows how, drivers can take breaks here and there, and obviously Lewis Hamilton being Lewis Hamilton, he has a vast business plan out for himself. He's got sponsorship, he's got his own company, he's got LH44 merch coming out, which is just his. So I totally understand him. He's not just a driver; he's also a spokesperson. He's a celebrity at this point. But when it's race season, you got to focus on your race, and that's how I feel it should be. But again, I'm no one to say. He's a world class driver. He's doing things. He's been successful. He is successful. I still tell people he's a 8 world time champion. Nathan, what do you think about this? Please, I really miss your voice now. It's really annoying to hear Vish's voice.
That's okay. That's very
The
nice of
bromance
you,
is
man.
real. The bromance is so real.
From a Ferrari and a Mercedes fan, we go back to the old Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton days, don't we? Oh
Exactly.
man, those were the golden years. I'm really excited to just I mean the way Mihir was like talking about Lewis Hamilton. I'm really excited to see him to see how he's gonna perform in not just in Ferrari but like what he's gonna do with the Italian team. He's always spent time with he's been in that Mercedes team for more than 10
12
years
years.
and 12 years, yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he manages the Italian crowd, the tifosi as well, and his fans. It's going to be nice. But I also want to bring one more thing back up with the race. We did talk about like the Haas finishing P6 and P8. Brilliant result from Haas, but then the person in the middle, Sergio Perez. What's happening? I mean, I know he had damage, but it's just, I mean, if there is any marker to show that Red Bull is not the fastest car, I think Sergio Perez is the biggest marker there. Because look, I mean, again, if you're a Sergio Perez fan and if you're listening to this podcast, you're supposed to be finishing where Russell's supposed to be finishing. You're supposed to be alongside Max, defending Piastri or Norris. But it's just really sad what's happening to Sergio Perez right now. He just signed a contract a few races back. I don't know what Red Bull are thinking in terms of their long-term goal, because clearly McLaren have a good package right now, and I think they're going to keep developing to a point where they'll come to 2025 and they'll start focusing on the 2026 car. They're just building a car for the next season, and right now, according to me, McLaren are ahead of that development chain. So Red Bull have to figure something out and Silverstone is going to be one heck of a race. Can't wait.
Well, yeah, I feel like we've just seen the trailer and like how we have that saying, "Abhi picture baki hai boss." Probably, I really hope Silverstone doesn't be a boring one, because Silverstone has normally is one of those races with a lot of drama coming to it. Like Netflix knows that very well. That's why, like in one season, particularly around 35 times they showed Joe Guan crash. So we got to see how it goes.
Yeah, hopefully we
Netflix is
don't get
gonna eat up
crashes.
the Austrian Grand Prix, honestly.
We gotta see. We gotta see. But yeah, I just want to take a moment to talk about Haas and Haas's radios. Kevin was told to manage tires. He's like, is that the same with Nico? Like, what's he? Like, what's the bromance going on? I know, like the previous day they watched the Euros together, Germany versus Sweden, and then after on the track, both are finishing behind each other. And even in fact, Haas's best race result after Austria 2021. Last time, Kevin Magnussen and Mick Schumacher got the same result.
I feel
So
like this is like their strong track, isn't it? I mean, P6 and P8 is like their favorite position to finish
no,
for
I
the
feel
Haas.
like now I feel like there is a sort of what do you call chemistry between both the drivers.
Yeah, that is true. And I'm gonna miss Kevin on the grid. And I
But
mean,
you know, but I don't think Kevin is gonna go. You think
I
that?
hope not. I hope not.
Because
Um,
one of the drivers who I really don't want to go is Valtteri Bottas. And Valtteri Bottas
Yeah.
is giving full sus vibes right now, being like, "Oh, I'll be still here next year." But you don't know which team it is.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
because right now the only seats that are available, if I'm not wrong, are the Alpine. Then you have Sauber, Williams. You have one seat at, I'm gonna call it Toro Rosso. I don't know what to call them. Visa, RB, Cash App,
RB.
Cash App are
whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
talking about that, Daniel Ricciardo. So the case of point is that initially the plan was bring Daniel in, and say goodbye to Sergio Perez by end of the season. Have Daniel installed from next season onwards, because Visa Cash App RB stakeholders, they know that this is a junior team and they have got a driver patiently waiting, Liam Lawson. Now it has
So
reached
wait,
a point
you're saying Ricardo takes Perez's place?
which was the initial case, but then now Perez being renewed, which I don't know
Hmm.
why they did it.
Same here.
And like yeah, last week we discussed like Helmut Marko is kind of basically feeling like what do you call, he ate the sweet, but now he's actually realizing that it's not sweet anymore, it's rather a lot sour. So he's just kind of embracing that. But then Ricardo's future will be decided during the summer break, whether he stays or he doesn't. He really wants to stay with Red Bull because that's where he is. That's where he kind of grew up. And in fact, speaking about Ricardo, it's Daniel Ricardo's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Daniel Ricciardo.
It's the
The Honey
man's birthday.
Badger.
Like, yeah, the Honey Badger finished 250 races yesterday. Today he celebrates. I don't know how old is he, but yeah, he celebrates his birthday.
Yeah, with a wonderful P9 finish in the race as well. I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah.
point.
it goes unnoticed. It went unnoticed, but like he finished P9 in that
Yeah.
hectic race
Yeah. So I
with the
feel
RB.
with the midfield, the pack is now first led by Visa Cash App RB, and then you've got probably say Haas. Yeah, it's Visa Cash App RB, Haas, Alpine, Williams, and Kick Sauber. Kick Sauber is the only team after 10 races yet to receive a point.
That doesn't bode well for the new team or for the fact that Ari's taking over.
Well,
I
again,
mean,
let me ask you this. When Braun GP took over Honda, Honda was struggling. But Braun
Yeah.
GP, very first season itself, won. So you cannot kind of put checks to it. And that same Braun GP is now branded as Mercedes AMG F1 Formula One team.
potatoes.
So you cannot discount the fact. So sometimes Audi may come up with a powerful powertrain with a really good aerodynamics, and then they're working it out. Because
I
Audi
hope
is
they do.
because compared to other teams, Audi has a head start.
Hmm.
They've already started testing all these things on track. So
Yeah.
you don't know how things will turn around, but I'm pretty sure Audi will do a good job. But
Yeah, and we forgot to mention one more team. I know it was tiny, but Alpine, again fighting between Ocon and Gasly. It was constant for God knows how many laps they kept. It was
I don't,
Ocon, Gasly,
I don't,
Ocon, Gasly.
I don't know if you kind of heard that. What do you call
Ciao.
no, the commentary from Martin Brundle being like, "What they're gonna do if Ocon again messes up the race? Fire him again?" I was like, that guy on point.
And there was this one part where Gasly finally overtakes Ocon after this lap long battle. And then Gasly just goes, ciao, and he goes forward. And the next lap, I kid you not, next lap, he goes into the pits. I'm like, why overtake if you're going to go into the pits and go down? But then Ocon also went in the lap after. And again, tiny little battle. And at the end, I think what Gasly came out with points. He had to use P10.
Gasly came up with the point.
Gasly came out with points, and Leclerc separated Gasly and Ocon. So yeah, everybody had an interesting race this weekend actually, except even Williams, if you think about it, because I mean Sargent outqualified Albon in the sprint qualifying.
Oh, that was that. Oh shit, man, we missed that bit. That was the big story, and
That was nice.
and on top of that,
I was crossing my fingers for Sargent to get a point. Oh
I
man.
swear to God, we
Oh
need to
man,
see
that was his
Arjun
best
again.
chance.
Arjun, you see
It's
the
gonna
two
happen.
people
Oh,
that wanted
Mihir,
to happen.
let me get Mihir up to speed. So the plan is, if Sargent gets a point, I shave.
You shave what?
I shave all the facial hair.
Oh, facial hair. Okay.
I know,
That was the
I
advice.
know.
What
No,
were you
no,
thinking?
I know, I know you don't have it. I know you don't have it here.
Listen. Don't get this personal, right? The reason I shave is because if I don't shave, I look like a Talaba delivery boy, right?
That you do.
Relax.
That
Oh
you do.
man,
Vish can vouch on that. But fair enough. Let's get back to the fact that Logan. I don't want to talk about me. Okay. I did see that honestly, and I really think that everyone on this grid is a very talented driver. There are some drivers who are more talented and more experienced, but the youngsters have something called reflexes. And I really think that the new generation of Formula One drivers, I hope they're not used to simulators. That's one thing that I keep learning and reading about. That simulators have become a very realistic way of learning driving, but unless until you're not in the situation, you won't understand the other variables that come in this. So Logan is doing an amazing job, but this is maybe like one in like 100 races, I guess.
That's what we were saying. It's sad because that was the only opportunity they had to probably get a point, and he was
facts.
outqualified in Q2. But it was just nice to see. The last time he outqualified Albon was also sprint quali, so it was just nice to see Sargent going ahead of Alex.
Yeah.
When's the
We're
next
not getting
sprint?
that again.
When's the next sprint?
no. In fact, the next thing what I'm gonna say is gonna hurt Nathan so bad. There was a time where
I know what you're gonna say,
Alex Albon overtook Charles Leclerc on a straight.
And this is where Arjun then says, on a terrible disappointment, we have to end the podcast.
There you go. You know what? You end it. You can end it.
Yeah,
No,
I think
bro,
it's a good
that's
idea.
you.
No. Nathan, he's made a very valid point. Nathan, let's hear it from you. Carlos, boy.
And on
Carlos is definitely
that-
going to Alpine. Listen, take it or leave it. Carlos is either going to Alpine, Williams,
Oh,
or
Williams.
nowhere else. His best bet is he can drive for me. Because that my car will be faster than those cars.
Come. You come to London, let him drive for us.
All right, no, Nathan, you gotta finish it
Hey,
out.
you can't say in London there isn't much speeds compared to Dubai.
No, I'm
Okay,
saying Dubai.
then he can
Home
drive
is
Nathan.
Dubai for me. No.
You can drive
Home is
Nathan
Dubai.
around in the Tesla. Okay?
No, Tesla.
Oh, wow. No,
Hey.
that's not happening.
Excuse me.
There's no way.
Teslas are not real cars.
Yeah, that's something he's going to reject immediately. I know that for a fact. But yeah, are we waiting for me to say on a terrible
Yeah, we're waiting for your outro, your famous outro.
And on that terrible disappointment, it's time to end the podcast. Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning on to another episode of Formula Pod.
Just put it on me, man.
Yes.
The guy got too much pressure.
Yeah, fair enough.
I gave him like a devastation bomb, and then he was waiting for me to say the outro straight off.
Should have just ended there.
Thank you so much for tuning on to another episode of Formula Pod. I know this is a really long episode, but then this 71 lap episode couldn't be done in 1 hour, so we extended by a lot. But yeah, nightmare comes for me where I edit this episode. But yeah, until then, we're not going to give our predictions, do we? Do we predict?
Yeah, I
No,
think
but
we
I
should
gave
put
my
it.
predictions. I gave my predictions last episode already. I'm on an all British podium
She wants an all British podium.
with Lando leading.
Okay, so for me, P1 obviously George Russell. P2 I would give Lando Norris. No, wait, sorry. Let's do the story. Sorry. This is sorry. P1 Lando Norris. P2 I would say Max Verstappen, and P3 I would say one of the Ferraris for sure. It's a bit. I know.
Positive, Nathan.
I know I'm being very optimistic on this, but hear me out. They are doing quite. Carlos did pretty well, I guess. But I want to say Mercedes, but I don't want to. I don't want to think. I don't. Yeah, I don't want to do anything with bad luck. But driver of the day, I would definitely give Lando Norris. He did a phenomenal job. Carlos is.
Like
I don't know what to say.
getting. No, I would actually give it to Oscar.
No,
You
I feel the system is rigged.
Lando wins every single time.
I feel the system is rigged. Probably it has just got like one button, that's Lando Norris.
He's the people's driver. I vote every single time, and I vote for Lando Norris.
I'm gonna be the Elon Musk over here saying everything is rigged.
Oh, can't go over Twitter once in a while, no?
I see. But Nathan,
It's funny that a Mercedes fan is predicting a Ferrari to be on the podium.
you know, in
know.
fact,
Ferrari
not
fan.
one. In fact, not one. 2 Mercedes fans said that. Okay.
No way. Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? Here's my prediction. Lando. I hope Lando bounces back. P1 for me is Lando.
Okay.
P2 Max Verstappen. P3 Oscar Piastri. I think McLaren have a good car.
Nathan Bobby, you are really amazing.
Hey, I didn't do it for you, okay? But
Okay,
anyway,
okay.
calm down. But that's what I think. McLaren have a really good car, and I think they need that
Yeah.
successful weekend for them. So that's what I predict.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my take. George. I'm not even gonna put George as well. Let me think. I'm gonna put probably shit, this is hard. This is super hard. Especially now the stakes are a lot higher. Yeah. I pretty much would be thinking will be Lando Max George.
You know what? I'm actually very, very happy that all of us agree that Lando needs a P1.
But if
That's
he
my
doesn't,
only takeaway from all of this.
but you
If
know,
he doesn't, it's a big disappointment.
if he doesn't win, then next week we are roasting you big time. If he doesn't
Well, it's
win,
not-
if he's not, see, it's not even if he's not in the podium. If he's in the podium, also you still get roasted. He needs a win.
You think I don't want Lando to win in his home race? That's something that anybody looks up to. It took Charles 6 years.
No, because last year's podium was Max, Lando, Lewis. So the
Yeah.
Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes. It will still repeat, and I know it. It will happen.
I hope just P1, P2 gets switched.
Unless and until like all the gods who I pray to listen to my prayers, and I see Lewis in the front, and then he hugging that golden trophy. That's then like a different set.
We'll just have to see what happens then.
But yeah, all done on that terrible disappointment because I am taking it over from Nathan. Thank you so much for tuning on to another episode of Formula Pod. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, we have been blabbering for a very long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, you can. If you've heard it till this much, well and good. We've kind of.
That means you actually enjoyed it.
That means you kind of enjoyed it. If you didn't, you're not going to listen to this. So, meh. But yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you next week for the British Grand Prix.
Grand Prix.